Off the Record Music Review.
Yay!
Yay! This is a show that talks about different artists, albums. Sometimes we have guests who want to talk about their favorite albums. We're like, we gotta talk about your favorite album? Anyway, why don't you check out our B-side top 10s because they're pretty cool too. But Bill and I do have very different musical tastes. Right, Bill?
We do. Yes, we do.
But the idea is to get over the hump. We're always trying to get over the hump to hump and really listen to the artists of the moment. So we listen, and then we listen, and then we do some more listening, and then you listen the most, right, Bill?
I probably listen the most, unfortunately. The whole idea is that when someone asks you to listen to something they might like, you're kind of like, okay, you might give it a try. We really listen. We have a minimum of 10 listens, but we try and go as high as we can and really get into the music. And then we can kind of figure out at the end which way it's going to go.
Until we love it, or we're like... So this week, it's kind of exciting. One of my friends loved the show, and then she wanted to come and talk about her favorite album. So that's what we're doing. So please welcome, if you will, Stacy McDowell.
Yay!
Wow. Yay! I'm so glad you're here. You look very Depeche Mode.
Middle-aged Depeche Mode audience right here.
Yeah. Kind of Depeche Mode with rainbow flavor.
Yeah. Well, I mean, all their videos played on MTV at some point.
And you worked at MTV, right?
I did, yeah. I mean, this was in the 2000s when YouTube was on the rise and broadcast TV was on the decline. But anyways, still a great experience.
So Stacy, it's nice to meet you. When people come on the show, we always like to find out what kind of music, what their musical tastes are, what kind of genres they like. So do you want to tell us a little bit about that? Your kind of favorite music, that kind of thing?
Yeah, sure. Like music, I'll say first and foremost is like one of the biggest elements of my life. It's been a part of my life since I was a kid, and my life has kind of dictated, it has flown around music, right? So, you know,
awesome.
Right from when I was starting to buy my very first albums when I was maybe 12, my father was really into music. So I grew up constantly hearing music. He had an amazing Sony setup, including like reel to reel that he would play all the time and make us mix tapes on reels to reels. So yeah, music has been a big part of my life. It's how I met my husband as well. And like he used to work in the music industry, and our friends have worked in the industry or have some touch point on it as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, music has been so integral to so many different touch points of my life, including I started going to shows as soon as I was 14 and making money. I saved all of the money that I made to go to school and to go to live shows.
So what kind of genres of music are you into?
I mean, historically, over the last, almost 5 decades now, it's like hard rock, electronic, and alternative are kind of like the top 3.
And Nikki, what are yours?
So my favorite genres are probably funk and classical and jazz. And I like folk music a lot. I think that's it.
Cool. Mine are, I like alternative, 80s, I like indie pop, and I really like lounge music a lot.
Oh,
especially
nice.
remix of old 80s songs into lounge music. Lately, I've been listening to that all the time.
So Stacy, there's a reason you're on our show, and you know what it is. So why don't you tell us what is your favorite album?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, I mean, it's not too difficult for me to choose. There's maybe like 3 top albums of all time, and the top is always going to be Depeche Mode Violator. But yeah, like I discovered it as soon as it came out. I was already a Depeche Mode fan, but that album always stuck with me. It never went anywhere. Right through high school, university, later in life. Played their songs when I got married. Sing the songs to my kids. They know.
Okay, cool. So this week we're talking about Depeche Mode Violator. So I'm just going to talk a little bit about the production. So it's their 7th studio album and their most successful one. It was recorded in Milan, London, Denmark, and Italy. The producer's name was Flood. It was released on March 19th, 1990. There was a single released before that, which was Personal Jesus. It's described by most, and probably by me, as synth pop, alt rock, dance, gothic rock. The song topics and themes go from Violation, the album, to guilt, to love, to extreme, to tender. It's kind of all over the place with this, with sort of a dark coding all the way through. And it just seems like a very intricate production that they put together.
Okay, so I'm just going to talk about the charts a bit. It was number 2, this album, in the UK album chart. It was in the top 10 of the Billboard 200. So in the US, it actually got up to number 7 at one point, which was crazy.
Amazing.
This album changed everything, I think, for Depeche Mode, even though, weirdly, I found out that they met when Dave Gahan was 15, really. Mm-hmm. And yeah, synth pop for sure. Although I think Violator might have turned on this clubby Detroit house scene, this sort of techno rock. It just sort of changed over. Something changed with Violator. And I see that most people really thought that this album was like nothing ever before it.
I mean, I think they started introducing guitars in music for the masses, perhaps, but they really focused on guitars in this album. And I think that was one of the biggest changes that they made.
So let's get into Depeche Mode Violator. We're going to go song by song, and we're starting with World in My Eyes, which was the 4th single off the album. And let's see what you guys think.
I loved this more and more the more I listened. The very first time I listened, I was like, oh, I didn't love it. And then the more I went on, I was like, oh, I want to go back to World in My Eyes again. I felt like it had a super rhythmic groove all the way through, and I loved the beginning. Like, I just loved how this started the album.
So this was a great starter for the album for me. The big thing to me in this song was hearing, because I love Kraftwerk. This is the only time I really heard a lot of Kraftwerk going on in this song, and it's kind of happening after the chorus happens. Kind of dancey, kind of Kraftwerky. The whole album to me just came across right away as kind of this almost creepy, seedy, but not, sinister creepy, but just sort of on the verge of going a little creepy. And this song sort of sets the mood for it. And it goes on from there for me.
Like, I love that this was the opener. I love, obviously that was a decision that they made. And I think the very first few bars of that song, I think I've seen them live, and I don't remember where it was or when it was, when that was the very first song they opened with, and then the curtain falls as it goes, da-na-na-na, and it's such a moving piece for even a non-super Depeche Mode fan. I think it's a great way to kick off the album, and it's one of my favorite songs on this album for sure.
So let's get on to song number 2, and it's Sweetest Perfection, and let's hear what you think of that.
I'm going to tell you that this was maybe my least favorite song on the album. I didn't love it. I thought it was okay. I kept trying to like it. I kept listening to this one, but I just didn't feel like it was the greatest groove for me. I thought it was good, but it would never make me go back to Depeche Mode.
Yeah, I have to kind of agree with you there. This was probably one of my least favorites on the album. I didn't think it was a bad song at all, but it was probably my least favorite. It just was kind of long, and it was a slow build. It was a really interesting build. Like, you can hear a lot going on back and forth. They're really getting detailed with this album. But yeah, it kind of came across to me almost like a bit of a repetitive nursery rhyme, kind of going and going. It's a good song. I just thought maybe it shouldn't have been number 2 on the album, but I'm not an expert on Depeche Mode, so that wasn't one of my favorites.
Yeah, I like that it fits into the flow, but it's definitely, like, I agree with what you're saying. It's my least favorite song on the album. I like is it the snare drum that makes that?
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah,
sure. I do love that, and I feel like I could listen to a song just of that. But I still like that it slows it down. Like, for me, the first song, World in My Eyes, is such a beautiful song and such an enjoyable song, and it brings me so high. And then Sweetest Perfection kind of just like balances me out a little bit in terms of where I'm at in the listening journey of the album. And then, the next song that kicks in really kind of gives you a nice little kick in the butt.
Yeah.
Let's get on to song number 3, Personal Jesus, which was the single before the album was released. So what are your thoughts on that?
So I love this song, of course, from the 90s. I mean, who doesn't know it? But there is certainly this feel to it,
Sure.
like, it's described as a dystopian blues march. Like, and it really does make you feel that kind of like, here, that sort of end of the world
Mhm.
kind of down, looking at the ground, your hair hanging in your eyes, screw the world, kind of that kind of thing.
Mhm.
Um, don't hate me for this, guys, but this is not one of my favorite songs, and it never has been. Um, I don't. To me, it sounds very odd, this song on the album, because it is really high tempo, poppy-ish, repetitive, poppy-ish. I don't think it's a bad song by any means, but it feels weird on that album to me.
Yeah.
It's just never been one of my favorite Depeche Mode songs, and I love a lot of Depeche Mode songs, but that one I think it was because the background, the music doesn't seem as intricate. It just seems like down, 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 down through the whole thing, and there's not much going on behind it. Whereas a lot of songs in this album, it feels like there's a lot of stuff going on behind everything. So
It's not my favorite Depeche Mode song either. I love it from a nostalgia point of view. The second I hear that boom, 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 I mean,
oh yeah,
it's a flood of
Yeah.
memories and sensations, and I can't stop that flood, which I absolutely love.
let's get on to song number 4, which is Halo. Nikki, what do you think?
I kind of like this song.
Me
I
too.
really liked at the beginning. It seemed like there was like almost like this weird breathing.
Hmm.
I don't know what that was, but I liked it. And I was like, what? This is cool. So I liked all the sounds in this. I thought the sounds were interesting and they really led me into the song. And then I kind of like I wrote down a lyric because I liked it. You wear guilt like shackles on your feet, like a halo in reverse. I just think that's kind of a cool
Yeah, that was cool.
lyric. Like, okay. Anyway,
Yeah,
so
I love that.
yeah, I thought this was a neat song. I liked it.
For me, it's one of my favorite songs on this album, and like I'd not forgotten that that's how it started, like the lyric that you quoted, but I just love the chorus so much when it finally it kind of goes along in this little tempo and then the chorus kicks in, and I just think it just again it's such a visceral reaction for me listening to it for so long, seeing them perform it live, and being such a video fan when I was younger, that it just means so much on so many levels for me. But this song in particular, I just love the chorus.
So let's get on to song number 5, which is Waiting for the Night.
So Waiting for the Night, I don't want to tell you if it was my favorite, but I can tell you that I loved it. I felt like this was super ethereal. There's no drums in this. It's kind of cool. There's like synth bass. That's cool. And I thought the keyboard synthesizer was so cool. I just loved all the sounds in this so much. And it was really moody, ghosty for me. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, this seemed like the real gothic vampire at night song to me. This was my favorite of probably the slower, longer songs. I really liked the kind of creeping buildup, and near the end, I mean, they're doing a lot of weird little special effects coming in and out, little yelps and stuff like that, which I didn't really hear when I first listened. And then with the headphones on, I'm like, oh, there's stuff going on everywhere here. This is awesome. That's one of my favorite songs on the album for sure.
Yeah, for me, it's top 3 for sure. And I have many, many memories of laying on my bed at night listening to this song in the dark. Like when you said it's so moody and it's like so dark, I was like, I just made a note because I wanted to remember to say like that was actually a thing I would do. And especially like it didn't matter if I was happy, sad, mad, whatever emotion, it was always such a go-to song. Like especially like going to bed, headphones on, listening to this album, but that song in particular, Lights Out. I think it just had a real peacefulness to it that I just absolutely love.
Let's get on to song number 6, which was single number 2. First single off the actual album, and it's Enjoy the Silence. What do you think?
I loved Enjoy the Silence also.
Me too.
This is in my top 3 for sure. I'm like, is Waiting for the Night my favorite, or is Enjoy the Silence my favorite? Either one, maybe both. But I felt like it really started sort of really stark and epically stark and like almost like a ghostly ballad, and then it just became this euphoric banger. So I really liked the movement in it. Like, it was so expansive. It was really great for me. I love this song.
This song is one of my favorite songs. This is like an underground dance number to perfection to me. Starts out just a really great groove, kind of happy melancholy, and then again with their song, the kind of disco-y stuff starts happening after the first chorus and puts a real groovy 70s kind of thing to it, which I didn't hear before. And now I was like, oh, that's why this song is so like a great crossover from dance pop to underground cool alternative song. It's just an amazing song.
Yeah, I would agree with you. Like, it's definitely top 3 for me, and I feel like it probably is for most people. I love that it's almost in the middle, I think, of this album, and it ties the first half and second half together for me. Like, it just really, like, sometimes listening to an album start to finish is a long experience, no matter who you are, even if it's your favorite. And I love that this one, you're like, oh, I'm listening to this album. It reminds you in the middle of it. Like, I just absolutely love that it's again, like smack dab in the experience of listening, if you listen to it from cover to cover. But yeah, the song in and of itself is so well produced. It's so layered, and it's so, like you said, it is like a crossover song. You can love pop and love this song. You can love alternative, you can love electronic, you can love dance. And it kind of it touches each just a little bit.
Let's get on to song number 7, which is single number 3, and it is Policy of Truth.
This is in my trio of my 3 top songs from the album. I thought it felt a bit like, almost like you rewired alt rock for this song. It was like kind of super cool. I loved Never Again Is What You Swore the Time Before. I thought the lyrics were cool. I loved the song.
Yeah, this is a great song. I don't know if it's made it into my top, but it's a great song. Incredible groove. I love the guitar. The only thing I would say about it, just a lot of their songs, I like short songs. A lot of their songs go on and on and on, and it's a bit repetitive at the end, but I think it's a really great song.
Yeah, for me, it's one of my favorite Depeche Mode songs of all time, like of all albums. This song, and I've never really been able to articulate why, but I have favorite songs from each of their albums. This is my favorite album of all of theirs, but this song, and again, depending on my mood or what's happening in my life, this jockeys for the top 5 songs, period.
Let's get on to song number 8, and it is Blue Dress. Okay, I really like this song. I thought, when I'm talking about the kind of creeper themes going on, this was the ultimate one. I loved the music in this. It was a lot of, I don't know if you guys know the band Suicide. They were big alternative late 70s, early 80s. And they have a song called Girl. And this song reminded me so much of that song, like just kind of a smooth little techno, just kind of, almost a claustrophobic sound to it, and kind of a voyeuristic thing to it. But this is one of my favorite songs on the album.
Is it?
Yeah.
I just really like the cadence of this song. And again, it has that like drummy snare bit that I like.
Oh, and it's got that creepy little choir at the end as well that kind of comes in.
Yeah, well, really that's cool. Another little like hidden treasure. Like, it pauses for a second and then they kind of come in again.
Yeah.
Hidden treasures.
Yeah, that was for sure one of those songs that I was not liking at all in the beginning, and then got under my skin because I listened so much to it.
I love that.
All right, I like it. Okay, let's get on to our final song from the album, which is Clean.
Yeah, it's not my favorite song at all. It's probably one of my least. I mean, I still love it. It's just when I love the other ones so much more. I always found this song as the ending a bit abrupt, but like I'm okay with it because it is like an album ending is abrupt to me sometimes. So Clean to me always was like that abrupt, it's done. But it's done. So it didn't really bother me. I never thought, oh, what a terrible ending. I always thought it was a fine ending, but again, when I'm ranking the songs on this album, this is nowhere near the top.
Okay, guys, that was awesome. So now we want to find out what your 2 favorite songs are and what your 1 least favorite song is.
My 2 favorites, it's hard to choose my 2 favorite songs, but again, speaking to you today and off the top of my head, it's Policy of Truth, because it's just one of my favorite songs they've ever done anyways, and Enjoy the Silence, for sure. My least favorite would probably be Clean, and only because I have to choose one.
I would have to say my 2 favorites, Enjoy the Silence, I think is just an incredible song, and World in My Eyes, the lead-in song. I think that's the song that really stuck with me. I love that song now, probably because of the Kraftwerk-y kind of sound to it. And the song I didn't like the most was Sweetest Perfection.
Okay. My top, well, I have a trio of top, so I'm going to give you 3. But my top, like the tops that were tied for 1 were Enjoy the Silence and Waiting for the Night. I love them both so much. I couldn't pick one over the other. I love them both. My second favorite is, after those 2, is Policy of Truth. I also love that. I thought that was a really cool song.
I would have picked Waiting for the Night third.
Me too.
Yeah.
Same with me.
Yeah, I would have picked that third.
Absolutely.
So we're all on same. And I would say, even though I didn't like the lyrics in Clean, I did like it as an ender. And I actually really didn't like Sweetest Perfection. So
both of you. Interesting.
Yeah. Okay, so let's do a final wrap up of Depeche Mode Violator. Let's hear how your thoughts may have changed, if they stayed the same, if you like them more and like them less. What are your thoughts, Nikki?
Like them way more. Listened enough. Loved it. Yeah, thanks for even having it as your favorite, because we got to learn all this stuff. It's cool.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think it changed my opinion of Depeche Mode, because I've always just kind of liked the main songs. I don't emotionally connect to Depeche Mode, and I think that's what the issue is. But I really like the singles of Depeche Mode. I've always thought they were really awesome at doing that combination single of a pop song mixed with a cool underground alternative song. They always did that really well. But not a lot has changed for me. I still kind of like them.
Yeah, for me, they're one of my favorite bands of all time. And that has been consistent since I was younger. And I know there's, data and statistics about how important and impactful the music of your youth is for all generations, and why it sticks with you for years to come. The music in and of itself, from cover to cover, whether or not it's those top 3 songs, I think it will never lose its impact on me.
So let's get on to our last part, guys. What would you give this album as a rating out of 10? We'll start with Nikki.
7. Which is more than I thought I would give it.
Yeah, I would give it 7 as well. I don't think it's my kind of music, but I certainly appreciate how well it's put together and how amazing it is and how important it was as an album of that time, especially for, techno dark pop. They were the kings of it.
Yeah, for me, I don't know what a 10 out of 10 looks like, but it's pretty close. So maybe I'll give it a 99.8 if we're allowed to give points. I enjoyed that. That was so fun. I'm glad that you gave it a 7 out of 10 and that you enjoyed yourselves. Doesn't have to be transformative, but that's fun I love discovering music.
Well, I've renamed myself now Depeche. So please, don't forget to like, subscribe, or comment. We'd love to hear your comments. We'd love to do your favorite album. Well, sometimes we might, or sometimes we might go.
Okay, so thanks for watching Off the Record. Don't forget to check out our top 10 B-sides. We've always got those going on. It was nice to see you, Nikki. Thanks for inviting your friend.
She was so good, our friend.
She was great.
Our friend was so good. Thanks for being such a good friend. And so good.
We got to have her back. She was the best.